Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations. Today we are going to tear this man's testimony apart. I first received the request from Lily Taylor about 20 days ago. The urn was placed in a box in Jeopardy. It was then sent to the warehouse. Hence, I was actually unable to see the urn for myself until the day of the crime. I need to not get so loud. Is he my cousin? No, he's my nephew. My nephew, he's visiting. He's like 2 years old and he's sleeping like in the room right next to me. It's 4 in the morning. Probably shouldn't wake him. I knew it was an extremely valuable treasure, so I sent my card 10 days beforehand. I then handled security by myself to ensure that my crime would go smoothly. At last, I held the urn in my hands for the first time at 1 AM on October 12th. That's pretty much all that stuff we heard before, isn't it? Yeah, but we will find the truth hidden in the nuggets of new information he gave. Witness, you sure there's no mistakes this time? Jeopardy. Very well then. Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. Do I have an episode titled Jeopardy? I think I do. It's like one of the first episodes, I think. At least I feel like it should be one. Tell me all about 20 days ago. You were asked to guard the urn by Miss Adrian Andrews, is that right? Indeed, it seemed that they had heard of my sparkling reputation. I see Miss Andrews is still attracting the weirdos. You better watch out too, Maya. Oh. At first I wasn't sure what he was saying. You mean this box? Yes, that pathetic box. Lady Andrews was especially taken with that urn. She wouldn't let anyone enter the storeroom, not even me. Huh. Interesting new tidbit. Hence, I was actually unable to see the urn for myself. So, you're sure that you had never seen the urn before? Indeed. You may ask Lady Andrews to confirm for yourself. My security was focused entirely on the entrance of that warehouse. However, I, Lucatmi, let no information whatsoever slip through my fingers. Okay, you mean this calling card? That's right! That is, without a doubt, my calling card. I guess Mr. Delight didn't make this after all. Of course, because Atme knew about the emblem. The fire emblem? Making this card authentic would have been child's play for him. You know, security. Did no one enter the basement warehouse? Unfortunately, there were many different treasures being taken there. Thus, for a period of approximately 5 days, people were indeed going in and out of the warehouse. You thinking there, Judge? This is the photo that proves that, huh? Indeed, to be honest, even if a photo was taken. I didn't think it would matter terribly much. Hey, Nick, if this photo's a fake, Detective Atme might have stolen the urn whenever this was taken. That's true. You know, he's been saying that he never saw the urn until that night. If we can prove that he's lying there, we can wrap this up and put a bow on it. I need to take a good hard look at the court record. There's not a lot to go on. I took the photo well before the actual night of the crime. They had never seen the urn before he stole it. I mean, yeah, because... Oh crap, I didn't mean to do that. I wanted to open the court record, actually. Is it wanting me to talk about this? Because you would have seen the urn here. Looks like absolute garbage in this picture, but... Let's see, first received the request from Lily Taylor. The urn was placed in a box in Jeopardy. Hence, I was unable to actually see the urn for myself until the day of the crime. So I sent my card 10 days beforehand. You were unable to see the urn for yourself. Well, I'm gonna call shenanigans on that. Because, because it's just false. I'm still a little sussed out by the fact that there's no paint on that box. And I don't know when that's going to come into play. If it ever does, it could just be But it was drawn before the paint came into play. The asset, I guess. I doubt it, though. This is a stretch, though, isn't it? To say that, no, you saw it, it was in this poster. But I guess any little stretch is enough. Oh, crap. Take her 10 days beforehand. I mean, yeah, I didn't think that'd work. It was just a thought. I wish I didn't lose 2 lives per. That'd be great. It'd be fantastic, actually. Held the urn in your hands for the first time October 12th. He'd never seen the urn before he stole it. But how would I... God, I didn't mean to do that. Okay, I know how this game is, so let me go through and press everything real quick in case there's, like, new dialogue, because that's happened to me more than enough in this trial. Yeah, the information slipped through. The, interesting tidbit message isn't popping up anymore, so I guess this wasn't as interesting as it seemed. Said you had security by yourself and that people were going in and out for 5 days? Listen, I would have thought you would have seen it then, yeah? We know... Well, that doesn't actually mean anything, does it? In replacement's box, kept out of sight. It was kept out of sight. Held the urn in your hands for the first time at 1 AM on October 12th. Okay, I thought it was like, that's not the box, because it didn't have the paint. I guess I'll start over, and I'll meet you guys when I figure out what I'm doing. I guess. You know, I'm a little thrown off by this one that says kept out of sight. Which means Atney would have had to have seen it. Is that what we're going with? It's not. Yeah, I'm not sure I follow either, Judge. They keep making sentences that's like, oh yeah, this is very obviously clear. Just look at the court record, and it could just be because it's 4:30 in the morning. I forgot to record today, and this has to go up in a couple hours. So, I don't know, maybe I'm just too tired to understand this. But I'm totally not getting it. Should I let anyone... I keep pressing that when I want to look at the court record. You wanted to... She wouldn't let anyone in. So you never had the chance to see it. I am so confused. So we know this can't be the night of the crime because the statue isn't there. And he's missing his brooch, which was caught on the statue, right? That's what we're going with here. It was in the shadow of the statue, which means he came back the night of the crime to place it. Where would I... Oops. Where would I put that, though? To the day of... No. I clearly have no idea. I'm gonna feel so stupid when I figure this out, too, because it can't be that hard. I'm thinking of every possibility except the one I need to be thinking about, apparently. Take care of the speckled urn. Wait, this is something I tried before. Okay, I figured that out way earlier in the trial, but it was just the wrong time to figure it out. Also, I will fully admit, I looked it up. I was here for 20 minutes, and I'm really mad that I didn't figure that out, because I figured that out earlier in the trial, that he said speckled urn, and it wasn't needed. So I in my head, I was like, oh, speckled must just mean, like, pretty urn. I didn't want to have to look up anything, but hey. Hopefully it's the only time I'll have to do that this playthrough. Maybe next time I won't record at 4:30 in the morning. It's actually almost 5 now. Mr. Atme, if you really are Mask to Mask, then you also wrote this calling card, correct? But of course! Is there a problem with that calling card? Allow me to read a passage from the calling card that Mask to Mask had written. Take good care of the speckled urn. Now, the speckled here. Surely refers to this pink pattern on the sacred urn. Yes, it is true, but so what? Truth be told, there's no way that Mask to Mask have known about this pattern. What do you mean? This pink spotted pattern on the urn is actually nothing more than paint stains. Paint stains? And these stains did not appear until after the urn had been taken to Lordly Taylor. Ugh. I'm not finding this joke to be very funny, Mr. Wright. The day the sacred urn was taken to the warehouse, the urn was broken due to human error, or should I say an error-prone human. And that's when the pink paint got on the urn. Ugh. You can't be serious. And yet this calling card clearly mentions the paint pattern. Which means Detective Atme had seen this urn long before the crime ever took place. In fact, he saw it when this fake photo was taken. And because this photo is a fake, your alibi for the night of the murder no longer holds water. Witness. Witness, do you have anything to say for yourself? Alright, did it. He's broken. Nick, I think it's still a little early for a victory pose. Huh? What blend of coffee is that? It's so sad. No one has any conviction these days. Conviction, you say? Yesterday, we all decided unanimously that this man was Mask to Mask. And now we're calling him a murderer. Well, he can be both. You don't think we're being a tad fickle? That's a good point. No way, don't fall for that too, Your Honor. Say that Luke Atney was the one who killed Caden Bullard. Then let me ask you this. Why would he do that? An excellent point! Just like my nose. Motive, Mr. Wright's motive! Might you my merry murderous motive manifest? Nick, he's getting a second wind. If he prepared an alibi and pinned his crime on Rhonda Light, as you say, he must have had a very strong motive for murder. The only one with any motive we've seen is Rhonda Light. Isn't that right, Detective? Indeed. According to my own research, the boy's motive is clear. Without a motive, it's nearly impossible to prove guilt in a murder case. Now then, maybe you can enlighten us as to what the defendant's motives were. I'd be honored to, sir, old-timer. They're doing everything they can to make Ron look suspicious. Despite our lack of hard information, this may be our only chance. Motive for murder. I, Luke Atamy, had no points of contact with the victim whatsoever. Oh, we got the, Allegro version. We might be nearing the end of the trial. Kane Bullard decided to investigate Mask to Mask and simply mistook who he was. It was Mr. Bullard who wrote the blackmail letter and sent it to Rhonda Light. And it was again Mr. Bullard who harbored a grudge against Mr. Light for his betrayal. Mr. Bullard's mistake is quite excusable. The defendant truly believes he is Mask to Mask. That is why Mr. Delight saw it fit to kill Kane Bullard. Truly a tragedy. So the victim, Kane Bullard, blackmailed the defendant? This is the blackmail letter found in the defendant's apartment. A handwriting test confirms that Mr. Bullard was indeed the one who wrote the letter. What? Very well, Mr. Wright. Begin your cross-examination. Oh, I already know what it is. I'll press everything, but I already know what it is. It's the very blackmail letter. I'll take your red diamond. I look at me and point to contact the victim. And who in the world is going to prove that? I will. After doing a thorough background check of Detective Atamy and Kane Bullard, we were unable to find any links between them. It's all in the report. Perhaps they were connected through their work. They were both involved in security. Nope. That was blunt. In any case, the only one with a motive was Mr. Delight. No. Mistook. That's right, mistook. From the Old Norse mistaka, meaning to take an arrow. That wasn't what I meant. Just who did the victim mistake Mask to Mask to be? Why, the answer is obvious. Rhonda Light, of course. Boy, I'd like to wipe that smug look off this guy's face. Now I gotta press harder. Why would the victim mistake the defendant for Mask to Mask? Don't you already know that? Zvadi! Take a look at this newspaper. Oh, it's the famous Tear of Lebanon, a magnificent jewel. That photo shows a magnificent detective as well, does it not? Furthermore, it also shows an ugly guard, namely the defendant. The defendant? The victim clearly misread the article, and Zvari! He got the wrong impression. The impression that this ugly security guard was in fact Mask to Mask. I see. How's an unusually reasonable deduction? I guess, but we know it's complete BS. You know this blackmail letter right? You mean this blackmail letter right here? It says bring $50,000. And the handwriting is, without a doubt, the victim's. There's no mistake. We have an official report to prove it. But I don't see an addressee on this letter anywhere. An addressee? This letter was discovered in Ron Delight's apartment, and Mr. Delight did show up at the designated place and time. The fact that there is no addressee is relevant. I wonder. What's up, Nick? I just had a thought. What if that blackmail letter wasn't meant for Delight? Whoa, do you have any evidence of that? For some reason, I just can't shake the feeling. There's something not quite right about this blackmail letter. Well, everyone, are you quite satisfied? No. I think I mentioned this in a previous episode, but it's really weird how this game seems a lot more hand-holdy than the other two. Especially the second game. The second game did not give you, like, any hints whatsoever. From what I can remember. I remember getting so stuck on that. game a lot. What do you mean by that? Oh my, I was certain you were already aware. Zvati! KB Security has a lot of security info on all sorts of companies. And since I was a security team chief, I stole data from the company. I forgot what voice I gave you, Ron, I'm sorry. Kate Bullard had yet to forgive young Mr. Light, which is why he sent him that letter upon mistakenly believing he was a thief. Here's a file that we discovered in Mr. Bullard's office. Evidence that Mr. Bullard was receiving money through blackmail. However, isn't this a bit odd? Why did the defendant pay Mr. Bullard the money, even though he wasn't actually masked a mask? On that point, there was an unfortunate bit of chance. Oh yeah, I bet. Do you really think that story's gonna hold up? That assertion is not merely my own, I'm afraid. What do you mean? I have here a memo from Ron Delight's wife, Desiree Delight. Ronnie thinks he's masked a mask. Don't you feel sorry for him? Please don't think too badly of him. Huh. Well, Mr. Trite. Was he trying to act like Mr. Light right just now? I thought he was actually pretty convincing. Truly a tragedy. Now it's just your imagination talking. Come now, Sir Lawyer. I'm afraid imagination isn't the right word for it. This is a deduction, the result of carefully applied reasoning. Can we hear that careful reasoning for ourselves? It's a long story, better save for another time. Very well, another time. The so-called long stories aren't usually all that long. At least, not in my experience. So you're gonna try to connect Detective Atme to Mr. Bullard, right? Yeah, that's right. Hopefully it won't require surgery either. In that case, you'll have to talk about the blackmail. That's true. Was that blackmail letter really intended for Ron? So if you don't have enough information, you should press him for more testimony. Yeah, maybe you'll shake some contradictions that way. I don't need to. I'm gonna save, though. Because I don't want to have to redo all of that. But I don't think I'm gonna fail. Send it to Ron. I call... shenanigans. Mind if I ask you a few questions, Detective Atme? Well, if it's just a few, I guess it's alright. When you said that this letter was addressed to Ron Delight, I couldn't help but notice on one major contradiction. Contradiction? I don't know where a walking contradiction like you gets off saying things like that. You're one to talk. At times like these, men are made to express themselves with their fists. Why don't you show us what you've got there, Junior? Indeed, time to man up, Mr. Wright. Show us the contradicting evidence in the contents of the blackmail letter. The red diamond? Do I show the newspaper clipping? Does he have the diamond? He doesn't have the diamond. Well, I don't know what you want me to show exactly. However, show us the contradicting evidence of the blackmail letter. I mean, is it the letter itself? Because it's the red diamond. I mean, it's also the fact that it's not addressed to Ron. This isn't it, right? A little 2-1 punch like that wouldn't even faze me. Objection! I think you mean 1-2 punch. Mr. Wright. Try thinking things through a little more far. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I felt that punch. No, there's something off about it. I just don't know. I'm gonna press up on everything again, like Maya said to. If there's nothing new that comes of it, I'll just skip ahead to when we're back to questioning him about the blackmail letter. Okay, so there was nothing. The contradiction is definitely... Maybe we don't go to the red diamond yet, but it doesn't... It's not addressed to, Ron. So... There's no, There's no, linkage there. I just present Ron's profile. Okay, this is wrong. And this is why I made a load. how do I prove a contradiction here? Maybe we do just go straight for the red diamond. I think that's what we do. So how do we prove that? It's either going to be the newspaper clipping, because it doesn't have the red diamond here. Which doesn't make too much sense, but I don't know what else it would be. Stealing is directed by blackmail letters. I guess it could be that as well, right? We could also present this, be like, you're the one it was addressed to, but that one makes sense. See the newspaper clipping. Now take a good look at this newspaper clipping. I thought so. I should have just gone with this first. It contains a picture of the Tear of Eminon, the stolen jewel. What about it? The problem is this jewel's color. Color? I'm not much for discussion color myself. According to the clipping, the color of the stolen jewel was blue. However, in the blackmail letter, a totally different jewel is mentioned. I'll take that red diamond you received the other day. Red? Which means, the red diamond described in the blackmail letter is not the Tear of Eminon that Mask to Mask stole at all. Should have been clear. And your point is, Mr. Trite, so you were trying to say that this blackmail letter was intended for someone else. That's what you're trying to say, right, Trite? That's what you're trying to say, right, Mr. Wright? Well, that is what you're trying to say, right, Nick? Yes. This is who Kane Bullard was actually blackmailing. Take that! Naturally. It was you, Detective Atme. Do you have some sort of basis for that claim? You've been personally involved in every single mask-to-mask case. And in the last case, you recovered what was stolen. And received a jewel. As your reward. A jewel? Probably the one wrapped conspicuously around your finger. That red diamond ring! That is the diamond referred to in the letter. Which means that Kane Bullard wrote the letter in order to blackmail you! Sorry, I was going to scream, but like I said earlier, I can't. Order in the course! Order, I say. It seems you've gone too far with your childish pranks, Mr. Trite. Uh-oh, I don't like the way you said that. Kane Bullard blackmailing Luke Atme. Are you for real? Yes, I am. Nick, come on, stand up to him. Then answer me this. The blackmail letter contained in the following passage. If you don't want your identity revealed to the world. Yes, it certainly does. Kane Bullard threatened to make Luke Atme's identity public knowledge. An identity he wanted to keep secret. So just what was that identity? Atme killed Kane Bullard because he was afraid of his secret becoming known. I'm just gonna pop a save real quick. What was the identity he wanted to keep secret? This is what it all comes down to, Nick. The identity that Luke Atme wanted so desperately to keep his secret was... a blackmailer, Mask to Mask? He's not the real Mask to Mask, though. A blackmailer? Is he the one sending the blackmail letters to Ron? Luke Atme was a blackmailer. Objection. Hey now, isn't that a little different from what you've been saying? You said that Kane Bullard was one blackmailing Luke Atme. Are you saying that Atme was blackmailing someone else on top of that? Ugh, you have to admit, that does sound a little odd. It's not odd. It's the only thing that makes any sense. Kane Bullard was blackmailing Luke Atme. But, Ron Delight was also being blackmailed by a certain someone. So, did you start receiving blackmail letters after this incident? Yes, just a few days after the Tear of Eminon heist. After that, I started getting the plans in the mail. I received plans from some very kind person. Incredibly detailed plans. Detailed plans? In which case, that would mean that Ron Delight was actually Mask to Mask. That is what we were claiming. Someone else came up with the plans and had Mr. Delight steal his targets for him. And that someone was none other than Luke Atme. Shh! Silence! Now I see. It's all becoming clear. What is? When you were in grade school, you received the same report card every year. Careless with a tendency to jump to conclusions. Am I wrong? How did you... You say that I, Luke Atme, was blackmailing Ron Delight. In which case, I would naturally know all about his relation to Mask. Well, yes. Ron Delight started receiving plans from his second crime onward, correct? Which means, I learned of his identity when we first committed that first crime, or when he... Good point. You certainly couldn't have blackmailed him otherwise. In that case, let's see some hot, bitter evidence. During the first crime, how did Luke Atme know that Ron Delight was Mask? Well, heck, that's a good question, isn't it? I mean, he was there when, It's gotta be the newspaper clipping, yeah? I think I see it. See what? When you were in grade school, you received the same report card every year. Gets into lots of mischief trying to be the center of attention. Well, what do you mean? This newspaper clipping. It has a picture of you and Ron Delight in his guard uniform. It seems that Mask didn't just disappear into thin air. He just took off his outfit and hid it in a bucket. That sounds far too stupid to be true. Correct. With tricks like that, he couldn't fool a baby, let alone an ace detective. And that's when you figured it out, Mr. Atme. That's when you learned that under his mask, Mask was really Ron Delight. What the? Wasn't he supposed to be Mask? I'm sorry, I didn't skip that. I can't believe he's just a slimy blackmailer. What a fraud! Trying to pass himself off as an ace detective? Why, you! How dare you expose me like that? Why, I mean, I've never blackmailed anyone in my life. I'm a famous and proud ace detective, and also Mask. Why can't you understand that? I'm afraid you're neither a proud thief nor an ace detective. You're a blackmailer and a murderer. That is your true identity. Why you? They can never fall to such slowly depths of those big mouths of yours. So none of you can compare to my genius. You're really just jealous. So go on, desecrate me. Commemorate something Ace Detective cannot handle. Ha! It's enough to make one laugh. It would seem we finally arrived at the real answer. That was quite a performance by Mr. Atme. Say that again. Bailiff, please prepare a cell for Mr. Atme. No! I gotta end the episode. And I want to end it on a chapter on the trial ending. The hammer that strikes too fast has no time to aim. What do you mean? I'm already prepared to deliver my ruling. Allow me to say one thing. I will be the one to judge. You don't get much more in your face than that. It appears that your claws weren't quite sharp enough, Mr. Wright. What do you... It's true that you've proven a lot of things. Things like Luke Atme was a filthy blackmailer. And that he wasn't at Lordly Taylor the night of the murder. That's right, that's why he's the one who killed Mr. But... There's still one thing you have yet to prove. What's that? Just because he was at the warehouse doesn't mean he was at the murder scene. Therefore, if you can't prove that this pitiful excuse for a man was at KB Security, then I don't see how a verdict can be delivered. No way! Order in the court. Well, Mr. Wright, this is it. This is the final round. I've got to prove that Atme was at Mr. Bullard's office on that night. But, can you really prove that? I don't know, but I want to save and find out. That's long enough. Mr. Trite, I want to hear your answer. That night, Luke Atme was at KB Security and the defense... And the defense... Can prove it, he wears gloves! I don't know if that's what we're going with, but I can prove it. With evidence! Are you sure? Don't you worry, I'll watch over you as you break down and fall to pieces. Very well then, let's see this proof. Proof that he was at KB security that night. This has not come into play. Could it be this? Wasn't Kane Bullard hit with something? We don't have his autopsy, do we? Oh, we do. Well, that doesn't mean much. It's probably gonna be like, what was his murder weapon? So, he wears gloves. We know that much. Is it that? This is the proof! It's true, that's very important. However, I'm not so foolish to think this will pass for evidence here. Is this wrong? The flavor of my Godot special, my Godot blend 49. It's bitter. Oh, I can't load. No. Let me load. Okay. So I was off base on that. Okay, the question is, can I actually prove it? Because I don't know if I can. I don't know if I have anything that says that I can. Let's select that I can't prove it, because usually this is the right answer as well. I can't prove it. Just as I thought. But, if we hear more of Detective Atmey's testimony... Unfortunately, that's as far as you go, Mr. Trite. But what do you mean? I won't allow for any more testimony. You don't make that decision. Have you forgotten? Luke Atmey is here after we interrupted his own trial, and you have failed to prove that he committed the murder. Take a time for this witness to return to his own trial, and face his guilty verdict as mask to mask. Oh, is this it? You don't give up. Okay. Double jeopardy is one of the basic rules of any court of law. Should a defendant be tried and found innocent in court, the defendant cannot be tried again for the same crime. That's a fundamental rule of all courts. Okay. They will be innocent as far as the murder of Kane Bullard. Okay. So I have to prove it. I have proof somewhere. That's nothing I can possibly do to win. If Ross can be innocent, the real killer will go free. Yes, there's an objection. Let me try again so I don't have to go back to the main menu. Objection? I think I see it. Was that Franziska? When you're a child, this is what was on your report card every year. His poor hearing and often makes mistakes as a result. How did you? Phoenix, raise your head up high. Have you forgotten what I used to tell you? A lawyer is someone who smiles no matter how bad it gets. That voice. No way. Oh, it's Mia. For some reason, I thought I heard a German accent. Long time no see, Phoenix. Mia! This is the true power of the Korean channeling technique. I know that it's really Maya who's standing before me, but right now she's my mentor, Mia Fey. Now, let's do this. But there's nothing more we can do, Mia. Without any more testimony, I can't cross-examine. Not yet. The testimony's not over yet. What do you mean? Your Honor, just as you said now, just now you said something very interesting. You have cross-examined every statement the witness has made here today. Yes, that's true, but... Fortunately, Your Honor, you're forgetting something. Earlier, after the last cross-examination, this witness made a number of remarks. Okay, so his love wins out in the end after all. I'm the ace detective. My verdict will verify that. Mrs. Rondelites will verify that he's a true murderer. Declare that with the full force of my ace detectiveness. Yes, but these comments appear to have no importance whatsoever. Very well, then we shall prove their importance via cross-examination. At any rate, as long as the witness has made these remarks, we, the defense, assert our right to question them. Is that alright with you, prosecutor? Is something the matter, Mr. Godot? Nothing. No, sir lawyer, looks like you're one step too late. If you think such falsehoods would do anything to me, look at... Let's hear it. Huh? It's true that the witness made some remarks. So then, let's hear this last bit of cross-examination. Mr. Cadeau, what are you? Alright, I'm going to allow you the defense to cross-examine. The defense would like to hear why you declared the defendant to be the true murderer. Phoenix, this is it. This is our absolute last chance. Yes, Chief. This better be the absolute last testimony, thank God. Okay, indeed, it was I was not Lord Taylor. I had to leave to see about another vitally important job request. I had known about the date beforehand, so I had this photograph ready. My brilliant deduction was what informed me that the true culprit was Ron DeLight. And thanks to the key card and wallet, it was abundantly clear he was there. I was also able to make a deduction from the buzzer, which only sounded once. The button did not have any fingerprints on it. Why? The victim would not have left prints if it sounded it, which means the killer sounded it. Mr. DeLight was wearing his mask-to-mask outfit, which is why he left no prints. And the blackmail letter, the victim likely just mistook the color of the jewel. Zari. Therefore, the evidence points to that poor boy. This testimony actually seemed to hold up pretty well. The witness's earlier remarks do not appear to have been hastily prepared. All of his points have been explained and none of them seem to contradict anything. But of course! But how did you know about the emergency buzzer? The police investigation documents went directly through me. And I always look over all the documents. It's elementary, sir lawyer. Are you going to make even more trouble for us now, sir lawyer? I will not allow any of your usual shenanigans, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. You cannot postpone Luke Atmy's trial any longer. This is your last chance. So I can't cross-examine? Or I can't press? Hang on a sec, just one chance? It seems that the party's about to begin. Well, Phoenix, there isn't any evidence that contradicts with that testimony. So it would seem. What do you mean, so it would seem? Listen, Phoenix, pointing out contradictions doesn't always mean you have to present evidence, does it? At any rate, this is our last chance. If you can't point out a case-breaking contradiction, you lose. That's all there is to it. Cup number 17. The last cup. It seems like time is coming to put an end to this trial. I have to find a fatal contradiction in this testimony. And I need to point it out without presenting evidence. Which means all I can do is find the contradictory evidence and press it. Okay, I get it. I have to press the right one. Okay, news was not at Lordly Taylor. I had to see about another vitally important job request. I had known about the date beforehand, so I had this photograph readied. Oh, you moron! You would have had to have been there if you saw that, right? Well, no, they didn't know that because it was Larry that found it, right? So the police wouldn't have put that on a report. Mr. Atmy, about this last remark. What do you want? You still don't get it, do you, Trite? This isn't the time to be pressing the witness on every little statement. What? I said this before. There's still one thing you haven't proven. That the scum was in King Bullard's office that night. And now, it's time for me to drink my last cup. Oh, that was wrong? Oh. Well, that's unfortunate. I so thought I was onto something. So, there's a couple things that it could be. He was knocked out by the true killer. Though, we don't exactly have any way to dispute that. Mr. Delight was wearing his mask-to-mask outfit. That is true. This is wrong. Oh, I'm not allowed to, like, load from here, so if I get it wrong, I have to sit through all this. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to... It's gonna get to a point where I end up pressing all of these until I find the right one, huh? I'm not gonna try and do that, but I guess I'll see you guys when I eventually find it, which will hopefully be the next time I load the save, because I don't want to have to sit through this over and over. I really don't get it. I've been through most of the ones that sound about right. I clicked the one, or I pressed the one that was about the Ron wearing the outfit. I really would have thought that would be the one, because, how would he have known that? Well, I mean, it would have been in the police report, right? So, I don't know. Victim would have left Prince to be sounded. I pressed this one. I pressed on all of these. Press this one. I didn't press this one, but this one doesn't feel like it'd work. I pressed this. I didn't press this. I even pressed this one at some point, because I thought it would be just that easy, but it wasn't. Mistook the color of the jewel. No, I have to prove that you were there. See, the reason I would think it was this one is because, none of us knew that he was wearing it until Ron, because it wasn't in the police report. I don't think. So, but Ron admitted it in court, so he would only know this if he were there. I mean, he was just listening in. I guess he could just be making this up, but... I don't know, maybe I am supposed to present evidence? I don't know. I've pressed on nearly all of these. And I just keep getting game overs each time. Yeah, it's another game over. So I'm super lost. I don't want to have to look it up either, but if all we can do is press, it has to be one of these. Maybe I skipped over one that I thought that I pressed? Like, I know for a fact I pressed these ones. I didn't press this one. Maybe that's it? But I think the rest of these I pressed at some point. I pressed this, I pressed this, I pressed this. I pressed this, I pressed this. I didn't press these two. Actually, I did press this one. I didn't press this one, though. But this one definitely wouldn't prove anything. So yeah, I don't know. Oh wait, what? I'm afraid you're the one who still doesn't get it? What? Mr. Atme, it seems you have finally admitted that you were in the CEO's office. Did I not press this? I swear to God I did. Wasn't it like the second one I pressed? Or maybe I'm mistaken. I swear I pressed it, though. That you were in the CEO's office on the night of the murder. How can you say that? Let's review your testimony, shall we, Mr. Atme? The button did not have any fingerprints on it. Why? Mr. Delight was wearing his mask-to-mask outfit. Is that correct? Indeed, that's what I said. My deductions are absolutely foolproof. Well, like your deductions prove that you're a fool. I'm sorry, whatever do you mean? For some reason, I'm starting to get really thirsty. When exactly did we learn that fact? That Ron Delight was dressed as mask-to-mask when he went to the scene of the crime. That was, it was just a few hours ago. Back when my sixth cup was looking at me with a cold stare. Huh? Oh, did I forget to mention it before? I'm sorry, I just never had a chance to mention it up until now. Oh yeah, because he was in another trial. Oh! Right, because he was in the other trial. He wouldn't have heard Ron say that. Right. If I had remembered that small little fact, I probably would have pressed that first. That's right, the defendant had yet to tell anyone else about this fact before this morning. Therefore, the only people who should know this are the people who have been watching this trial. Ugh. Do you understand now, Detective Atme? There's no way that you should have known about that. But, yeah. I mean, even if he did here in the court, he still shouldn't have known about that, I guess, prior to the... No, that would clear him, I guess, because he could have added that into his deduction. You're in the next courtroom being tried as mask to mask. So then enlighten us. Just how did you know about that piece of information? Well... Come on, this detective must have known about it. He probably had plenty of chances to find out beforehand. And it's those chances that I wanted to discuss next. That night, Mr. Delight was wearing his mask-to-mask outfit. There's one and only one way for Detective Atme to have found that out. Only one? One way, you say? Please recall, if you will, Mr. Delight's testimony. When I entered the office, there was a suspicious shadow there. For a second, my client witnessed the real killer. But Mr. Delight never saw his attacker, so there's no way to tell whether or not the real killer was Luke Atme. It's with that statement that I'll turn this case on its head. Just what are you implying? Mr. Delight saw the real killer, correct? Now, if you turn that statement around, it stands to reason that the real killer had also seen Ron Delight. Impossible. Detective Atme, you saw Mask and Mask at the murder scene that night. You saw him when you killed Ken Bullard and assaulted Ron Delight. That was the only way you could have known what Ron was wearing. Uh-oh, earthquake. Uh-oh, bro's about to go Super Saiyan. Take a good look, everyone! Unable to find a rival worthy of my genius, I was forced to create one by myself! Here I am, the tragic clown! That's the same line you gave yesterday. But I think there's a little more meaning behind it this time. Can it be over? I've been recording for an hour, 10 minutes. What an awfully complicated incident. Kane Bullard was blackmailing Luke Atme, who was in turn blackmailing Ron Delight. And upon killing his blackmailer, Luke Atme tried to frame Ron Delight. He then claimed to be guilty as Mask and Mask in order to escape his true crime. And to that end, he came up with a plan. To use the double jeopardy rule when making his alibi. At any rate, it would seem we finally found the truth. Excuse me. I came perilously close to besmirching the record of an innocent young man. Besmirching him with the title of murderer. Don't ignore me! Oh, I didn't realize you were there. Why wouldn't he be? About the verdict. I know. You never committed any murder. That's right. I'm so glad you understand that. But I really am Mask to Mask. Huh? So, thanks for that trial yesterday. I'm innocent now, right? What was it you said? Double jeopardy? Now that you mention it, I've been careless. Careless? What do you think, Mia? As the defendant says, the rule of double jeopardy is absolute. A defendant can never be tried twice for a crime in which one was found innocent. Then, Mask to Mask is really innocent? It would seem so. For now. For now. Now then, the court finds the defendant. You really got off lucky there, huh? Oh, I know exactly what the episode title was going to be, but now I just gotta find a thumbnail. Boy, this is really lucky. Wait, this isn't so good after all. You see, the thing is, I still am Mask to Mask after all. And Desi's gonna be mad. You did it, Phoenix. Thanks, Mia. It's been a long time, hasn't it? Yeah, it's because Maya doesn't call me much these days. Oh? I'm just joking, Phoenix. Don't take everything so seriously. But on the other hand, Maya, she seems kind of torn these days. About becoming the master of the Korean channeling school? Becoming the master means saying goodbye to her mother. Misty Faye, right? Watch over her, will you, Phoenix? Of course. Well then, I'll see you around. Mia. Mr. Wright. I don't know what to say. Congratulations, Mr. Delight. Thank you so much. No, wait. Nothing really matters anymore, though, now that all this just happened. Come on, just be happy already. Oh, Maya. He'd been cleared of all the murder charges and got off his mask to boot. But in exchange, I lost everything. Huh? What do you mean? Stealing security information from KB Security, becoming mask to mask. I did it all for one reason. For her. You mean your wife, Desiree. She hates criminals more than anything. Come to think of it, she was once held hostage by some robbers, wasn't she? She always said how she hated sneaky criminals. I knew that, but once I got fired from KB Security and lost all the money I had, she wouldn't have any reason to stay with me. I thought she would leave me for sure. So that's why you became mask to mask? Yes, it's all over now. Broken Bowl could never be put back together. That's not true, right, Nick? Right. Really, can we go back to the way things were? He'll be fine, and Nick can prove it. I can? I kinda wish he would check with me first. Mr. Light, even if the bowl is broken, there's always a way to put it back together. Oh, I wanted to save. I really wanted to save. Oh, it's the... Is it the face? Sacred Urn. Desi was the one who found this. Desiree, your wife. She's always believed in you, Ron. That's why you'll be fine. You don't have to worry about anything. There you are. Mr. Light. You did it, Ronnie. You're innocent. I'm so happy. Thank you. I appreciate that. But, I suppose you don't want anything more to do with me, do you? Ronnie, why didn't you talk to me about what was going on? I had no idea you quit KB Security. I never imagined that you were really mask to mask either. Mr. Light, what are you gonna do now that you know? You're not gonna really leave him, are you? Come on, it's obvious, isn't it? How could I ever let a wonderful man like him get away? After all, my bike's really fast, so there's no way to get away. But didn't you say that you hated criminals? Oh, I only hate people who act all cowardly and sneaky. Like that detective. I see. My Ronnie went and declared his crimes before he committed them, like a man. I just love a man who's so chivalrous. Chivalrous? I knew I was right about you. Every day I spend with you is filled with thrills and excitement. Desi. Desiree, you really do love Ron, don't you? Nicky boy? Yes? I'm really glad I asked you to defend my Ronnie. Thank you so much. I'll never forget what you've done for us. Oh, well, take care of yourself. You too, Nicky boy. Go. I can feel my face going red. It's Nick! Good thing, Maya! Congratulations! You're gonna slap me again, aren't you? Oh, talk about bad timing. Mr. Nick, how could you? With another man's wife in front of Mystic Maya? I'll never forgive you. Never, ever! Just as the case came to a close, so too did my consciousness. Ron said a broken bowl can never be put back together. I know that's not true. I mean, just look. Here's a perfect example of one that was put back together. Even better than before. Hang on, is there a way to turn off the text box? No, that's the transparency. I want this as a thumbnail. Maybe it'll... Oh, there we go. Cool, thanks. The end. Yo, maid Maya? No way. We're in for a treat next episode, lads. But until then, that's it for the episode. Thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw, click or subscribe button down below. Don't forget to check out my channel, and if you're trying to stream live on Twitch or something to stream live, you can check out that link down in the description below. Once again, thanks for watching, and I will catch all of you in the next one. So, take care.